The Chicago Bears have signed a pair of playmaking wide receivers in Jahade Walker and JP Richardson. What can they bring to the Chicago Bears this upcoming training camp period? We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. And the Chicago Bears have signed Jahade Walker. This is a senior who brings a really solid frame at 6'4", 205 pounds. He also has the type of makeup to where he can put some weight on that body. Absolutely. He's a senior who played for Texas A&M when it came down to it. You look at what he did for that team. 590 yards in 2023 and 35 receptions. That's an average of 16.9 yards per reception. Now, while the yards were less in his senior year in 2024, 345 yards on 29 receptions for 11.9 yards per reception. He had 4 touchdowns in total in his collegiate career as well. And Jahade Walker brings some really good playmaking ability, right? When you look at his athleticism, right, while he doesn't have kind of the combine numbers that pop out at you when it comes down to it. But when you look at the way that he impressed in his pro day, right? The fact that he surprised people with how athletic that he is, it's really good. He has tremendous hands when it comes down to it. And when he gets down in the open field, he's shown the ability to be a really big playmaker, right? And because he's played in Division II at Grand Valley State and in the SEC at Texas A&M, he's had a lot of experience when it comes down to that as well, right? And so when you look at it, right, he also received the honor for a senior football player. He received the Aggie Hart Award, right? So this is a guy that plays with tremendous output, right? And tremendous effort when it comes down to it. And while his stats aren't necessarily overwhelming, you got to look at what he does really well, right? He's not as polished as a route runner yet. So basically what he's doing is basically all off possessions when it comes down to it. This guy brings a lot when you look at it. The 32 receptions, 654 yards, 51 yards, and 4 touchdowns is really good. He brings a combination of size, really solid athleticism, and really good potential when it comes down to it as well. And that untapped potential that's potentially there, especially with him playing at a smaller school his first 2 years in college, moving over to Texas A&M, there are going to be a lot of people that look at him as a potential development wide receiver. And I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of those guys that spends a year or so on the practice squad and you can see what he gets to it. But where he can make an immediate impact, and this is something that I've talked about a lot before, is that the Bears are trying to improve every facet of the game, which means special teams. And when you look at Jahade Walker and what he can potentially bring as the special teams, this is a guy that not only blocking punts in multiple seasons when it comes down to it, but also his ability to perform in special teams as well. Like, this is a guy that I really look at and I say where he has a potential to make his name for himself at, with him being a really good guy with possession, really being really good in the open field, with him being crafty, having the deceptive athleticism, is special teams. And that's where I think if he does crack anything, that's where it's going to be right away. Now, keep in mind, if you can keep your guys off the field that are at your actual, skill positions and use somebody like a Jahade Walker who's kind of come into the league and prove themselves, while he doesn't have a lot of special teams experience in college, that's how I really look at his complete skill set. He screams to me somebody that really could excel at special teams and maybe make a name for himself there. Right now, we know that making an NFL roster, coming in as an undrafted free agent, it's always going to be an uphill battle when it comes down to that. But I'm telling you what, I'm looking at Jahade Walker. I'm looking at what he does well. I'm looking at where he exceeds at. And this, to me, screams somebody that can be a playmaker for you on special teams potentially. You just have to invest in that and give him the opportunity. But I think if he gets that opportunity, he can take that ball literally and run with it and put some pressure on some opposing special teams. And that's where I think he can make his name for himself. Now, the Bears also signed another solid athletic playmaking wide receiver as well that also brings a lot of collegiate experience in JP Richardson as well. Wide receiver out of TCU, 6 foot, 195 pounds. And when you look at this guy, especially his last 3 years in college, it's nothing but production there. In Oklahoma State, right? In 2022, 49 receptions, 503 yards. That's an average of 10 yards per reception, 4 touchdowns. You look at 2023 with TCU after the transfer, 46 receptions, 536 yards, 11.7 average yards per reception there, and 3 touchdowns. Then you look at his senior year, 57 receptions, 733 yards, 13 yards per reception, 2 touchdowns. Over the entirety of his collegiate career, this guy has has gotten 11 touchdowns, which is really good considering he was never the feature wide receiver. He was never a guy where he was getting a lot of the opportunities there, but he stood out. Right now, again, everything into context. I think when you're looking at it as an undrafted free agent, you're looking at a lot of what he can bring to that level, right? What he's done in college is really good there, right? The fact also that how productive he was, even with the number of snaps and stuff that he played. But much like Jahade Walker, special teams value is really what it's going to come down to with that one, right? I think when you look at it, he averaged 11 yards per punt return, which ranked 10th nationally in college football last year, right? If you can bring that over here, that's where it gives him a really solid chance to make an NFL roster because of that ability if that comes on. He also has really good hands, really solid route runner as well, right? But the reliable hands, especially when you look at some of the history of the Bears and their punt returners, shout out to Velus Jones, right? It's that. And also as a wide receiver, he understands where to vary off the route and to create some things when it comes down to it. Also, the pedigree. His father is Bucky Richardson, who did play in the NFL as well, and his grandfather and uncle also played college football. So when you look at it when it comes down to that, now some of the bigger knocks on him, he's not the crazy level athlete at the NFL level. He brings some athleticism, of course, but he lacks the traditional size. He doesn't have tremendous speed. He doesn't have the amazing athleticism of some of the higher pickups, but he's still able to be productive. I just gave you the numbers. That's off intelligence. That's where special teams can definitely help you at when it comes down to that as well. Now, being in the Big 12, which is a very competitive conference, you look at that and see how much of those skills are going to transfer over to the NFL. That's what it's going to come down to, right? He was kind of not looked at as an NFL prospect in this draft, mainly because of the athleticism and other things. But I do think this special teams is where he could make his name for himself, much like Jahade Walker. And with the depth that we have at wide receiver, I don't think there's going to be a tremendous opportunity there, but you could see him kind of get in there in some kind of specialty type lineups and scenarios, especially in the preseason. But I think when you look at these two guys, Jahade Walker, JP Richardson, what the Bears are doing is what they've done with all these undrafted free agents. Get players with experience, with talent, with some untapped potential, and see what they can do. It's a roll of the dice, but I tell you what, the Bears have invested in some really solid UDFAs. If they invest in any more, of course, we'll have more videos for you. But let me know what you guys think on these two prospects. Make sure you guys are following us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. That's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.